Still some decisions to make later today, or do you
Yep.
feel like you know who you've?
Yeah, we got it narrowed down, but we got some conversations we got to have.
Yeah. And can you just talk about how tough the decisions were the last few days for you? I think that's what you wanted, but was that the reality as well?
It is. It's this is the good bad problem, right? We had to make some tough calls on some guys, and for all the right reasons though, because guys pushed in camp. That's that internal push that we talk about, and some guys raised their game, some guys stayed the same and didn't. And so that's what happens, and we can only open up so many players on the roster, and so that's what we got to do.
Memstrom spent a lot of time with this team the last few years.
Yep.
Just that decision to put him on waivers and maybe go in a different direction. What are your thoughts?
We'll see. Like I said, a lot can happen here, and this will be a real defining moment for his career. And it's not. Bemmer always works hard. He does, but you look at the Chinnikovs, you look at the Danforth, how they came in, and they took that spot. That's really as easy as it is, and so. The players always decide. We say that. I know everybody kind of jokes, but that's the truth, and that's what happened. And so, we'll see what happens here with him if he gets picked up or if he doesn't, and then we'll move forward from there. And things change quick. If he doesn't get picked up, within a week or a day, he can be back here and then thrive. It's how you handle it. Adversity is nobody wants to go through it. It's tough, but that's an opportunity to grow. And how you handle that as a man, and you embrace it and treat it the right way, you have a true opportunity to really bust through on the other side of it, and that could be his situation right there.
A year ago, we were talking about Chinnikov and Sillinger and how they needed to play, no matter whether it was here or Cleveland. Does that same thing kind of apply to Kent at this point? You don't want him sitting, do you?
No. The thing, Kent's still here because he deserves to be here. That's period. He from where he was last year, from how he was, and to how he had a camp. That I saw, his competitiveness, his pace of play, his ability to execute at high speed, he deserves to still be here. And so he's not going to sit on the shelf long. I can tell you that. If we don't play him in game one and it looks like he might be out game two, we still got some decisions on lines. But yeah, no, he's got to play. He has to play. All our young guys need to play.
What's your level of anticipation showing the fans what this team is about?
Well, I think they saw a lot of it last year, what we're going to be. I think we're a deeper team this year. Yeah. I look at the guys that could potentially be down in Cleveland, and that's a pretty good pool of players to pull from. That's a tongue twister there. You notice that? That rolled right off the tongue. That was good. But yeah, well, no, I wouldn't say that. But in all joking aside, I think the depth, you're starting to see it, and you're starting to see some of these young guys that are pushing and knocking on the door. That's going to push our guys that are here. So we're excited. I mean, we're a work-based team. We should be an exciting team, a team that's just hungry, and that's what we should see every night.
Brad, with your increased skill this year, you've got 2 scoring lines for sure, maybe a third. Do you see this team as being more of a possession team, and can that alone take pressure off of your defense to be maybe defending less than they had to last year?
Yeah, I think the thing is, I think first we need internal growth. We've talked about that, guys. That standard's different for a lot of guys. So that's the bar that they've set for themselves, which is a good thing. But now we can't dip. We've made a few adjustments structurally, and then yes, if you have more time in their zone, and you're spending it down there, they can't score. Right, so I think we're a dangerous team, we're a fast team, but we got to spend more time in their zone also, and wear them down, and use our size and strength protecting pucks, and come in waves, and that means you're not defending. Nobody likes to sit there and play without the puck. All these guys want it. So how hard we compete to get it back, that's going to be a real indicator of us not defending in our zone as long. Okay. And again, it starts really at the other end and works its way back. And then when we're in there, we got to be harder to play against. And I think we are. I think we're a bigger, stronger team, and I think guys have put the effort in camp.
The marginal fan will look at Laine and Gaudreau and what can be. What can they be?
We're going to find out, right? I mean, chemistry is a funny thing. I've said it a number of times, and now it's for real. So, yeah. And teams know how good they are. So they're gonna be going after them. Which, I like the balance of our lineup right now. I think we have 3 lines. I think all 4 lines can put the puck in the net. Sean Corelli had 14 goals last year. And you have Robbie if he's starting on that line there, and Olivier's You know, he's a tough customer, but he protects pucks well. He's great below. He goes to the net. You know, he's a guy that might sneak up and score some goals also. So I think I think we have some good depth as far as scoring.
When we look at Gaudreau, I mean, there's times when it looks like he's, I guess we call it a one-man breakout. I mean, he can kind of just get the puck into the zone whenever he wants to. Do you feel like you have more guys that are sort of like that this year than last year, as far as just being able to gain the zone and get through, you know, with transition and through the neutral?
It hasn't been a whole pile of change. If you look at our lineup, you know, it really. He's a major change. I mean, he's a dynamic player. I told him he's a 1% type player, you know, like a Panarin type guy that the puck just seems to follow him around. They can do things at pace and speed, and obviously his speed, skill set with the puck is tremendous. So he draws defenders, and he's comfortable with that. A lot of guys aren't comfortable with pressure, and when they take away time and space, he looks just fine. So I think, you know, no matter where you're at in the season, beginning or end, we want to be we want the puck. You know, we defend to get the puck back. We don't want to be defending all night. So, puck possession, I think you look throughout our lineup. We have speed, we have skill, we have some size now. I think we have some older guys. You know, so I think we're starting to balance out a little bit more. And again, this is year 2 in this progression of this group. We're still a young team, and now we got to start taking that step. You know, they all feel it. They want to do it. They've put the work in, and now it's like I said, we got a pretty formidable opponent right away here in Carolina, and you know, so we're going to have to be ready.
You're going to obviously take those. The cliche is a game at a time, obviously, but I'm sure, you know, when the schedule comes out, you look at some of these things. We look at it how tough it might be. I mean, you got playoff teams left and right coming up, and just how important is that going to be to kind of get through that early stretch and kind of just survive it, I guess.
Yeah, well, you know, the word we've talked a lot with our group is humility, and there's a lot of layers to that word, and being humble enough to stay in the moment, and that's really where you have to stay, because it can be terrifying when you start looking at the schedule and the quality of opponent. But again, you show me the easy game, I'll show you the fool, because there is no such thing. And as soon as you dip a little bit, your focus isn't there, your details, your concentration, you get smacked right in the mouth. And so, whether it was you know, a top end team, a bottom end team, or wherever all the experts put them, doesn't matter. I mean, we have to prepare. We have to focus on our game and how we're going to play, and then, you know, we'll give them the information. Then they got to go out and execute.
Right, given all that, when you look at camp now in the rearview mirror, how would you evaluate where your team is in terms of ready to start the season?
Yeah, I feel like they're prepared. I do. I think if you're using camp to prepare, you're behind. You know, in really how I look at it, the real gauge was how did they come in, and that was, you know, we have a lot of conversations, and unfortunately in this world everybody interviews very well, and the action will tell me everything. They did a tremendous job of preparing. I could see it, and from the first and second and third days of camp, that we didn't have that dip that we had last year, I felt like, as far as conditioning. So very pleased with camp. I'm sure everybody's saying that right now, that they're excited. You know, we're in first place, we're also in last place. So at that point, you got to go play. But as far as the prep work that they put in before they got here, thrilled with that. And then I think they carried it through. I thought our leaders did a good job, and I thought our young guys did a great job at pushing, because there's some guys that are knocking on the door.
Foodie's still here as well. Is he in a little bit different situation than Kent, maybe, as far as, I mean, he didn't get cleared to contact, you know, for more than halfway through camp. Is he still kind of working up to, you know, where you think he should be or could
Yeah,
be?
I was able to play him in some games, which is good. You know, I thought his first game was probably his worst, which is understandable. He was several months without a game, right? So I watched him here in his last couple of games. He looked much more comfortable. I think, you know, whenever you come off surgery, you know, is as comfortable or as confident as you feel you are, until you start getting into situations that aren't controlled, it's a totally different environment, right? So you got to take those hits you're not expecting. You got to put yourself in vulnerable situations, and it looked like he was less hesitant as the preseason went on. So yeah, he deserves to be here, and you know, we'll monitor as we go forward here.